We're live. Okay, so welcome to Comic Books on TV. This is the week of, just finishing the first week of December, and we're going to have this in two halves. So first, we're going to talk about the big event of the week, Heroes Join Forces. So I'm Hunter, my brother Ford, and Ford, why don't you kick it off for us?
Okay, so this week we had the long-awaited crossover of Arrow and Flash, I guess we can call it since we're comic book fans, the giant-sized annual.
That's right.
They don't really do those anymore, but at a certain time, the comic book industry would at the end of the year try to push these big crossovers with these. In the case of Marvel, sometimes they were literally 2 feet tall. The giant, you remember the old giant-sized X-Men giant size, and eventually they just turned into shilling crossovers. But that's kind of what this was. This was a corporate play to get all of us to watch the show that's going to replace Flash and Arrow. So let's start. Flash season 2 episode 7. Season 2 episode 8. What was it called? I have it written down. I was just on the wrong page. Legends of Today.
Legends of Today. That's right.
Okay. So first we get there's a million plot lines happening in this episode, and then the concurrent one, the Arrow follow-up, almost to the point where there are too many, so we can try to break them down. The show starts off with the magnetic arrow, which was great.
That was awesome. The magnetic arrow was like the tits.
I mean, those little things where they can incorporate the goofiness of Ollie's past into the seriousness of Ollie's present. Like not in the show's terms, but I mean, like in his character's terms, is all I adore that shit. I
thought that was great, and this episode even opened hard with the quick opening scene with Vandal Savage making his appearance here, and that was really cool. One of the coolest stories I remember reading the past decade or so was that a Final Crisis storyline when he had the Mark of Cain and the crime Bible and all that, and he was running around trying to convert people. I thought that stuff was awesome.
Yeah, one of the things that anytime someone's immortal, they always have to like brag about who they've hung out with, famous in history, and of course he drops I taught Houdini that.
That's right.
For once, I would love like a show to be like, no, you didn't. You just made that shit up. Like you were halfway across the globe. Like I wish somebody would ever call an immortal on their name dropping this, because it's not like we would ever know. It's just
it'd be hard to prove.
But no, okay. So Vandal Savage is a terrific villain for them to set up here, and as an ongoing menace in the spinoff. But the best villain in this episode was Neil McDonough.
I love Damien Dark. That's like I had that written twice in my notes. Is that Damien Dark is just awesome, and he just walks in and he has kind of the Captain Cold chewing scenery moment where he's just smiling and being evil and loving it. And that dude is awesome. I'm so glad he's on this show. And they wrote him fantastic here. They did a great job with Team Arrow jumping out of the truck, and you get the Avengers shot as they all come down like this, 3 lined up together or 4 together. That was really cool.
Yeah, we can get to the Avengers comparisons later on, because Thea basically called out Age of Ultron in the Arrow episode.
Yeah, she did.
Fuck calling it. We can get to that right now. Thea in the Arrow episode, they hide out on a farm, and she goes, Heroes hiding on a farm. I feel like I've seen that somewhere before.
That was awesome.
Shots fired, Joss Whedon. This episode, I had a couple comparisons to the Avengers, but first of all, Damien Dark, his 2 scenes in this episode is we get introduced to him, and he's choking someone, laughing his ass off while choking, and he's just having the most time of his life while he's choking this dude out. And the second time we see him is he's got Ollie like in his grips, and Flash comes and saves him, and he's not even mad. He's just like, oh, what was that?
Whoa! My heart be still. That was awesome.
That looked fun. Like that was just he wasn't mad at Barry. He was just like, oh, okay, that looks awesome. Yeah, I would.
Neil McDonough seems to be having a great time, and so does Damien Dark. I mean, he likes being evil. He likes the fight. You're right. He's impressed by the Flash. He's like, well, that's pretty cool. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, I mean, there was a okay, so I think Barry also had a great line this episode when he saves Cisco after his date with it's whole Shire, I think. Like, why can't they just pronounce it the way that they pronounced it on Justice League? Like I never knew how to, I mean, like, I never knew Hawkgirl before, and then Justice League, the cartoon, taught me how her name was pronounced, and now it's not pronounced the same. So I don't understand that, but either way, so when Cisco is and her are on the date, and you know, he texts Barry like, he saved me, and then, you know, Barry comes and Vandal Savage runs, and Cisco's literally like, thank you, Barry, and Barry's like, dude, just give up my secret identity. He's just like, dude, man, come on.
Yeah, he's like, weak, dude. That was messed up. No, I love that moment too. Just look at his face, like, really, man. But then, of course, they take her right to their base, introducing everybody, go introduce her to Arrow, and so it didn't bother him too much, apparently.
Yeah, okay, so one of the things that they hinted at was why, like, so Zoom is 4 times faster than Barry, they said, right?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
So, okay, so they've not discussed this, and I didn't think they were going to go this way on the show. I thought he was just going to be another speedster, but, like, so I have to put this in. So in the Jeff Johns run with Wally West, that's where most of my Flash knowledge comes from, was the Jeff Johns Wally West run. I have those in trade paper. Fantastic. Actually, Mark Waid wrote a few of those too, but either way, the Wade Johns West runs.
Yeah, Wade was like early 90s, late to mid 90s, and then Johns came after that.
Right. So Zoom was a Wally villain, and what his powers are completely different than Wally's and Barry's, in that, you know, they're connected to this speed force, right? And it's like this living thing where Zoom just slows down time and moves in between the seconds. So there's no way Barry could ever be as fast as him, because he's just slowing down time and then going about his business. And I didn't think that was the way they were going to go, but the fact that they're like talking about his powers and like how different they are, maybe they are going to actually go into that Zoom doesn't have the speed force. He's just, you know, he has the power to slow down time.
See, the way that I'm thinking it's going to go, I guess it'll be similar to Reverse Flash last year was trying to absorb Barry's power, because then they say he stole the Speed Force from Jay Garrick, which, one, makes no sense as far as I can tell, but 2, if that is what he did, was, you know, enhance his speed by stealing Jay Garrick's speed, then I don't know if he'll end up being. I have no idea. That's one thing that factored in. So I'm thinking maybe he, you know, charges and he wants to have all control the total speed force. Well, but be right. That's not him in the comics.
Right, but see, like, but he does look like. I mean, there's a thing called the Black Flash that that is just like literally like the antithesis of all Flashes, and once, like, you know, every he shows up whenever there's a crisis. There's that Black Flash figure. But either way, I don't think you can't steal someone's speed force. It's not in them. They're connected to it. You can disconnect them from it, but they don't have it inside of them. They just access it, right?
In Flashpoint, who wrote Flashpoint? You know, I can't remember.
That was Jeff Johns.
That's what I thought. All right, so in Flashpoint, at the end, Barry can't get through time to set things right. Because Zoom is alive and nearby, siphoning Speed Force, and not siphoning like stealing it, but just there, and they both are sharing the total. Which
now that makes sense.
So what ends up happening is that when Batman shoots Reverse Flash, Bat Dad, I guess, shoots Reverse Flash, then Barry has access to all of the Speed Force and is able to go back through time and set things right. So I'm going to guess Zoom's powers work similarly, where, like the Highlander, there can be only one if that one is to possess the entirety of the Speed Force. Okay.
Well, first of all, there was a Highlander reference in this episode. With Cisco calls Vandal Savage Highlander, like so that's funny you said that. But B, I think you're actually, that makes sense. So you're saying he doesn't necessarily steal it from him, just he steals Jay's access to it, which then makes his access to it more conducive, and he can use it more of it, I guess is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that still fits with what I thought. I was gonna say it's because it's not. I mean, it's not like it's like juice inside of someone's thing. It's just
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense. But anyway, so back to this episode. What did you think of the introduction of Hawkman? And the question I kept asking is like, Hawkman is awesome. I love seeing this, but like, this isn't necessary. Like, why can't we just have Hawkgirl?
Yeah, I have the same. Here's the problem I had with what you just said is that I thought the exact same thing until I saw Hawkman and Green Arrow punching each other in the face, and that just made me so happy because it's so many of those 70s Justice League comics, Green Arrow's all progressive and liberal and out the environment, screw big business, and Hawkman's like a fascist, and just telling him he's a hippie, and they end up fighting a lot. So that was awesome. But no, to your point, I also don't really care too much about Hawkman. He was good in this episode. He was a fine actor. He was likable enough. But one, I don't care about Hawkman. Two, I'd much rather see Cisco bang her than that guy. So I feel like he's unnecessary for everybody. But they always want to bring the two together. The show's always like the romance element. There was one episode of JLU where Hawkman does show up and is trying to push the we've had all these lives together romance on Sierra, and she's like, actually, I'm banging Green Lantern right now, so I'm gonna go with John Stewart. You leave me alone.
Okay, I mean it's that. I mean that's just okay. So I watched a couple of those episodes recently in preparation for this. Disney XD is rerunning a lot of them, but. So you're right. Yes, there was a fantastic. It's like Two Falling Stars, I think is the name of the episode, where it traces Hawkman and Hawkgirl's relationship through their ages. It's one of the better episodes they ever wrote of that show. However, it does end with her walking off with Green Lantern and rejecting the whole thing.
Right.
Like that's the way that they ended that episode. It's one of the most beautiful things ever. Where it actually it's the most sympathetic version of Hawkman you've ever seen because like. Yes, you're happy that Shaira and John are off together, but then like the last shot of the episode is of Hawkman like alone, knowing that like he has another 100 years before he has a chance to get her back. Like, and so they, just like that show always did, they have a fantastic little, reverse of the perspectives. With that being said, what?
Oh, the screen froze. I didn't hear anything you said. They had a fantastic little.
I mean, that was just the way they ended that was they made you sympathetic for him after the whole episode of one, like, oh, screw him. Go off with John, be yourself, Shaira. Screw this guy. And then the end of the episode, it shows him like, all alone. He has no one and it's just him. So, and I'm glad they went with the Egyptian route because the whole like being from another, the whole like being from another planet, like it's Krypton, but it's not really Krypton. Is a thing. But so I know I've talked for a minute, but you referenced the fight. Hawkman versus Arrow versus Flash.
Yeah.
That was done as well as anything done in the first Avengers. Like it wasn't as spectacular as Hulk punching Thor and whatnot, but that was pretty dope.
It was super dope. The effects budget isn't obviously the Avengers, and so they weren't able to play out exactly how some of this fight might have gone to the full extent, but it was fantastically choreographed. And really, I thought that this episode was one of the best Arrow episodes like ever, as far as just tight, good choreography, tight dialogue, solid story and focus elements. It was really well written, and the Flash team did an amazing job of basically telling an Arrow episode with the Flash as a guest star.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, if you're viewing these episodes from the Arrow perspective, they were better than if you're viewing them from the Flash perspective. I don't really know why. It's just specific. I mean, we can get to Ollie's personal life finally coming crashing down in the next episode, but they were the Arrow side of this was handled very well. I mean, the Flash part, they had Jay and Joe like off on their and Harrison Wells like on a B plot that was just completely unnecessary. Like, I understand they wanted to have all the characters from every show in these 2 episodes, but it would almost been better served if they just took that whole time and had more of Arrow and, of Barry and Ollie interacting.
Yeah, I feel that. I thought my favorite scene of the Flash episode may have been once again, kind of like an Avengers, let's all hang out and have a few drinks and tell stories and, have like a personal 5-minute interlude here where we just get to know each other and catch each other up on what's happening and, maybe tell a little bit of our personal thoughts on the issues. I thought that was a great scene and something that I've always loved in the comics, but I feel like to satisfy the ADD demands, they feel like, there's always got to be a lot of pace. And it's something that Age of Ultron got criticized for was, the whole farm stuff and kind of losing the momentum. But I thought it played great here in this episode. And then led to a great confrontation with Savage, where Thea, of course, tries to kill him and shoot him over the ledge.
But that was an awesome moment where Thea was just like, fuck it. I mean, she did what the guy Nuke was trying to do in all of Jessica Jones, where she's like, no, I'm ending this right now. Screw all you guys.
It was great. Yeah. Thea, no! What did you do? Ended it. We're done. He's not trying to kill her anymore. Oh, wait, he's gone. Shit.
Right. That was so, I mean, in the conversation of Cisco trying to come up with a better nickname and her being like, no, I like Speedy.
Yeah.
I mean, the more, but she was kind of like the secret star of these because she had the great line at the farm in the second episode, but she also had the great line in this where she's like, we know the Flash now? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I knew we knew the Flash. Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great. And then her fight choreography, I was watching it. I turned to a wife and said, man, she is so good now. I remember last year I dogged her so much, and now she's a highlight. She's a joy to watch. It was really cool.
On the other hand, the goofiest, stupidest shot from either one of these episodes was Laurel jumping out of the van screaming, and that was borderline just laughable.
It was goofy, and of course, Vandal Savage didn't even notice. He just swings around and whacks somebody with his stick like she's not even there. And yeah, Laurel once again fails to get it done in the clutch.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I like Ollie being the Batman guy of the team, the universe, giving the hard questions and look, we're all in a lot of danger right now. Just trying to figure out what's going on. Why don't you question her and be a little annoyed at Flash's kind of blasé attitude? And I just love Cisco. And poor Cisco cannot get the girl.
Can never. Poor Cisco. And how about your boy Malcolm though? Like, there was a great line where someone says, do you not know how to enter a room anyway else? Like, just stepping out of the shadows.
Yeah.
I don't know what his connections is with Vandal Savage, but he's obviously going to Lazarus Pit the fuck out of him.
Well, obviously. I thought that they'd blown up the Lazarus Pit, right? But he's obviously got some kind of backup plan.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Lazarus Pit blown up in comics like a dozen times, and every time in those stories they blow it up or destroy it, like, oh, someone's got another one.
Yeah, and they set it up this one like it was the only one. But yeah, in the comics, there's Ra's al Ghul's got like 12. He just goes around the world to different Lazarus Pits, like his vacation homes. He just finds a reason to be there, get a little dead, and go to your Lazarus Pit vacation. So let's get into Arrow. Dude. So right into the kid.
Okay, yeah. So Arrow season 4, episode 8, Legends of Yesterday. The second half of the crossover. I thought the better half of the crossover.
I did too. I thought Flash wrote a great episode for the Arrow team, but that not a lot got done. They didn't match the great mellow moments and the relaxing friend moments with quite enough action there at the end. And it was obviously leading up to the climax. And Arrow, I thought, did a great job, maybe even better than usual. Although this whole season's been a lot better, I think, at the details than last season was. I thought that Felicity sucked in this.
Yeah, we can get into her whole like how she was totally and absolutely wrong in her reasoning in a second. But before we shit on that, Yeah, so Thea's superheroes on a farm line, straight up shots fired at Joss Whedon in Age of Ultron. So Ollie, I guess, found out about his son, and which I knew all along that was going to come into play. Interestingly enough, though, the son's name is not Connor.
That's right. That is not Connor Hawk. That is William something else.
It should have been Kyle. Like, just as a deep DC cut, like, or Guy, or like, maybe the last name will end up being something, and we'll go, or like, I don't know, who's someone in the I was gonna say the Legion, but that's like 1,000 years in the future. So, I
don't know. I mean, you know what? I read an interview this week somewhere claiming it was from one of the Arrow guys, and they were saying that they purposely made him not Connor because if they ever want to play with Connor Hawk, they don't want him to be 10.
Right. Which means that Ollie had to have that kid young as hell.
Yeah, totally. Well, in the comics, Connor Hawk is the child of Green Arrow and Shadow, right?
Yes.
And so that obviously isn't going to be the same because they knew each other for a year, 6 years ago. So if they're going to do Connor Hawk, it's going to have to be something different. I mean, I guess it could come from. So that's weird. I don't know how they're going to pull that off if they do it.
Well, they've actually said that they're going to introduce him on Legends of Tomorrow, which Legends of Tomorrow is a time travel. It's a time traveling show, so it'll probably just.
I forgot that they actually already said they might do that, or that he was going to be listed somewhere or seen somewhere. But if that's the case, then what would stop it from this kid being him? Why would it matter?
It wouldn't, unless they want to travel like way into the future and Ollie wants to be like missing an arm or some shit.
That'd be awesome.
Like, depending on how far into what timelines they want to go into, we've seen like, old Ollie shows up in Kingdom Come, and old Ollie shows up in Legend, in Dark Knight Returns and Dark Knight Rises, and I have not gotten or read Dark Knight Master Race.
Yeah, DK3, Dark Knight Returns, second sequel, The Master Race. Yeah,
but he's in that for sure.
I have not yet read it either, but yeah, he's in all of the Dark Knight stuff. Strikes Back, whatever. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And Connor Hawk was cool. Connor Hawk was not like Kyle Rayner, where all the fans were kind of offended that this was happening. Yeah, like the fans wanted Ollie, and when Ollie came back, Green Arrow hit the #1 book, in sales in the country with Kevin Smith writing it and kicked butt. And I missed Ollie. I missed the seriousness of those Green Arrow books, but Connor Hawk was at least a cool character. So I would definitely like to see Connor Hawk in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I never hated Connor. I hated that he was this, he was like my opinion of Kirk Cousins. Like, I have nothing against you. I like you as a player. I like you as a character. You're just not the guy before you.
Right. You're not the guy that I was planning on rooting for today.
Right. So, or read, so that, but they actually did a cool, hard traveling heroes, like pseudo sequel with Kyle and Connor.
Yeah, they totally did.
But anyway, so we can talk about Ollie and the kid and that whole thing, or the end and how they they straight up killed everybody, had Barry go back in time. Like, how comic book is that? That
was perfect, man. That just when the blast went off and you watch Ollie's face as it Terminator 2 style, flashes to fire and dust. That was awesome. Straight out of a comic book. As Flash, runs past time and the explosion takes out the entire house with both casts in it. That was ambitious and super cool. And then they actually play it out smart, and he gives Ollie the heads up. In the first half, I guess this more digs into the stuff with Felicity, and so you want to bring us into that? You sound like you had an intro for it.
Yeah, I mean, so Felicity, this whole fuck Felicity. This woman being like, you're asking the world of me. It's only right that I can ask the world of you. Like, no, it's not. That's his kid. He has parental rights. Like, you have no right to Like, yes, he has a right to see that child or to be in that child's life. You know, you are in fact the one that are, you know, like you're not making demands, bitch. Like, you know, you've been keeping this child secret from him. You didn't even cash the check, so it's not like you know you can sue us for blackmail or anything like that. Like, there's just that whole thing was ridiculous. And then Felicity threatening to break up with him, or actually breaking up with him over not telling her after she knew, like.
After she went behind his back and stole his information, after Flash just told her he made me promise not to tell anyone, and then she blows up at Ollie like, how could you not tell me? One, I'm not mad that you had a kid you didn't even tell me about. And he's like, I just found out. Remember, I just told you yesterday I had to go figure out what I was dealing with earlier today. I said, well, and he says so reasonably, shouldn't I have time, you know, a day to process this? Isn't that okay? And she's like, oh, well, you had time to go and tell Barry. It's like, no, the whole reason you're here is because Barry didn't know, and you stole it from him. You just told me Barry didn't know what he was giving me. What are you talking about? You're just looking, women. Just kidding.
But that's what it was. Her reasoning there was so, like, if anything, she should be like, Ollie, oh my God, I'm so sorry that woman didn't tell you that you had a kid. Like, how can we fix this? This is, you know, like, let's try to get some, like, I'm the CEO of a company. I'll pay for your legal bills. We should try to get this.
I'm so sorry that I went behind your back and stole your information. But since I did, let me help you and support you.
Yeah. I mean, her whole reasoning there. And then, I don't know, but the episode was so good as a whole. I'll willingly forgive that. And you've been wanting them.
I totally forgive it. I don't hold it against them. I think people are irrational in life, and that wasn't one of their bad ones. And what it did do was it explained and gave reason for Ollie to actually have this lie and not tell her about the kids in the future episode. Because as this is happening, I'm like, man, well, before she finds out and breaks up with him, I'm thinking he's going to lie to her. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should tell her anyway, man. I know you promised her not to, but Felicity can keep a secret. She knows you're Green Arrow. She can always keep a secret. And it's just creating another silly lie situation. But then they at least did the diligence of showing him blow up in his face and Barry telling him she left you because of this to make him think, okay, well, I guess I can't tell her. So I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was bad on her part, but as long as you write it well, good characters can do dumb crap.
For sure. I mean, the dumbest thing that happened this week was not anything on Arrow or Flash. It involved Jim Gordon inviting a 12-year-old on a fucking SWAT team police raid and being like, sure, grab a vest. Come on with us. That was one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen a character make in any medium. But
yeah, I feel that.
But no, so yeah, Arrow was awesome. The fact they showed the whole world and their half was I guess better than the Flash half. And he was, even though it was mean and kind of dumb, like that, she totally would leave Cisco for that guy, right?
Yeah. That guy was a stud and just opened her eyes. And she had the flashback. She remembered the scenes, the feelings. I mean, it made sense. It was well done. I feel bad for Cisco, but I don't think it was poorly written or written to make her seem like a bitch or anything.
Right, they made a point to show the dude without his shirt like 7 times to be like, "Yep, this is why she's leaving." Like,
remember how Felicity is with Ollie?
That's right.
What she just said. She gets to, yeah.
No, but how about they probably spent $500 on that Rome set or that Alexandria set. Yeah, maybe they spent $500 on that.
That was pretty awesome. Just the whole opening sequence was not a. No, it was cool though. It did the job. I thought overall this was a big improvement over last year's team up. Last year's team up our episodes were cool, but I loved the tying into one long movie style show. I thought it was great, and yeah, you're right. It is kind of pushing Legends of Tomorrow, but good. That's what it should be doing is giving us a preview, making people excited to watch it. And it gets out all this origin stuff totally out of the way. Now Legends of Tomorrow kicks off, and we know the origin of every character except for Rip Hunter.
Right, and I'm sure we know that. I mean, I can imagine the pilot will be the origin of the one character that we don't like. That's
right, but at least you only have to have one of those episodes that's the origin of the character we don't know, and you can actually do a good job with it and bring the new characters in because they don't have as much baggage to explain. I think it was smart. It was great. And even if there was no show, No Legends Tomorrow. I'm glad they did this because I want more superheroes together on screen at the same time all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like that was as close as we're gonna get until next March when essentially Justice League drops.
Yep. Shit, this was essentially Justice League. You had Green Arrow, the Flash, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, all and Black Canary, kind of, and Speedy all joining forces to fight Vandal Savage. That would be a Justice League movie in the 80s.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna fight this dude, why didn't anybody think to call the guy who can fly and shoot fire out of his hands? Like,
yeah, good call.
If we're gonna have heroes, like, so anybody want to call Professor Stein? Like,
yeah,
I feel like he might be able to help out with this.
And then that'd have been convenient. Although I'm seeing the previews for Legends of Tomorrow, and they've got Jackson.
Jefferson Jackson.
Jeff Jackson, yeah, they got Jefferson Jackson running around in the Firestorm costume, like he's in the red leather, and it's got the same device they've had with design. It's gonna look awesome, man. I'm pumped for Legends of Tomorrow. This week, I gotta get going in a second. So this week is the fall finales. Is that correct? Or winter finales, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think that was the Gotham finale last week, or the Gotham mid-season finale, and then this week will be Shield, Arrow, and Flash. Okay, so yeah, that was the Legends of yesterday, Legends of today crossover. Great, loved it.
Yeah. Do you want to grade them?
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that the Arrow half was like an A minus and the Flash half was like a B, but if you put them together, it was like A minus, B plus.
I thought that the Flash half was a solid B, maybe a B plus. Arrow I thought was a solid A. I thought Arrow was about as, I mean, it wasn't A plus, but I thought it was a solid A. I thought that it was tight, well done, great choreography. I thought the crossover, I'd give it A minus at worst. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with you tomorrow morning to review Shield, Supergirl, and Gotham.
Yes. We had a couple trailers drop this week. Real quick, Batman, Superman.
Yes, we did. We saw a lot of new things. Like apparently that is a army of Superman devotees.
Right, that is an army, and there's Doomsday looks like a Ninja Turtle, and Wonder Woman looks awesome.
Wonder Woman awesome. Doomsday looks like Doomsday until the face. Face looks like a Ninja Turtle. Face looks like it looks like Doomsday blended with Michael Shannon. It looks strange.
And Michael Shannon doesn't not look like a Ninja Turtle. Like
fair enough.
Like that's right. Part of what they like. It's not like he looks exceedingly different than the way those Michael Bay turtles were drawn.
Yeah. So
it's just a bad combination. But I this time 3-4 years ago, I remember seeing Quicksilver, and I thought it was straight up retarded in Days of Futures Past, and that was the coolest comic book scene I've ever seen in any movie. So I will forgive this. I will forgive this until I see it. And Civil War trailer looked fantastic. Don't understand how they're going to fit 45 characters into one movie, but I will enjoy them trying.
I'm excited for it. I thought Captain America 2 was Marvel's strongest effort, and maybe the second best comic movie behind Dark Knight. I thought that. So I have confidence in these guys. Who knows? I don't know that. You're right. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot to fit in. But they've been building to it a little bit in Shield. I don't know. It's going to be a lot. It's high expectations, though, because that comic book series was awesome. And the preview does look great. I mean, they got the vibe and they got the violence down pat.
Yeah, and the only thing I wish that Marvel's chosen to go dark, like with their storylines, like the exact moment that DC is releasing their biggest movie, and it's the darkest, it's the Snyder Nolan verse or whatever. But whatever, they're gonna come out like 3 months apart. They're both gonna make $1 billion, and we'll all be happy. So,
I agree. I mean, and before that, as appetizer, we get Deadpool.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of them. There's a little movie that comes out in 2 weeks. Hold on, 12 days. 12 days.
The Lottery.
No, it's called The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It wins the lottery.
So anyway,
it hasn't even come out yet, and I've already spent $30 on it. So,
I bought some toys the other day. So
nice. I bought half the family is getting Star Wars T-shirts. So,
well,
what are you gonna do?
Well, anyway, we'll see you next week. I'm not the one with this on. I'm coming home in like 10 days or whatever.
Let's just here 1 sec. Before we stop broadcast, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Right. Yeah.